Well, hello there, folks. My name is Mark Miles, as you know, and I love helping trainers, presenters, workshop facilitators really take the results to the next level. In today's video, I want to talk to you about essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways or 7 things to cover efficiently and effectively in a training needs analysis conversation. Or if you are so-called having a discovery call with a potential client that you're going to engage with, or they're going to engage with you to run a workshop. All right. Now, this often happens when people reach out to gurus or reach out to, subject matter experts, and they will come and they will want you to deliver a workshop or a training, whether it's online or face-to-face, and you will be in a position where you'll need to hypothetically sell yourself. But we need to appreciate that at the end of the day, that conversation, as much as you're trying to sell yourself, you're actually trying to ascertain, is it actually a context that you can bring value to? And the conversation that you have is really, really, really important. And the way you structure it is the fundamental thing that will transform whether or not you get the role, but also on top of that, whether or not you show up and you deliver in alignment to what they actually need. So I'm going to go through these 7 areas that I think are really, really important. You probably want to grab a pen and write this down. So the first question I love to ask the potential client is asking the question, so client, what's created the need or you reaching out for me in this context or this situation? So what's created the need for you engaging a potential trainer to come into your workplace? And they're going to say something like, well, it's professional development day, or it's upskilling, or it is, well, we've recently had XYZ incident happen in the workplace and we need to do some follow-up training, right? So it's really, really important that you gather why have they reached out to you. Now, the second question or the second area to look into is indicators of success. So I love to ask the question. It's a very well-known question, but the question is, looking back in 3 to 6 months' time, or even looking back in 1 month's time, how would you personally know that the training that I've delivered has been successful for you or your organization? What would you be seeing, or what would you be seeing around the organization that would really make it successful for you? Or potentially, what would you be noticing as different? All right, so the first question is, what's created it? Second question is, how would you know that it had been successful? All right. So the third question I love to ask is around this topic of XYZ or sales or safety or leadership or whatever the topic may be. What's been your biggest frustration up until this point? Because a lot of times people are going to reach out for a solution because whatever they're doing right now is not working. So I love to ask, what's been your biggest frustration around the area of whatever the topic is that you train on? So, next one is, what feedback have you as an organization received that you want to increase and get even more of? It's a pretty cool question, right? What feedback have you as an organization received that you want to get even more of? All right. And an adjunct to that question is, what customer complaints have you ever received that you love to reduce even more and get less of in this coming year? All right, really powerful question. Now, the next question is time allocated. Now, hello, Mr. Client, Mrs. Prospect, Mr. Prospect. I know that we all have different ideas around time frames and what's possible in regards to what you've got allocated in your mind for time frames. Looking at this topic and potential training or engagement, how much time will you be able to allocate for potentially solving this challenge? Are you looking at a 1-hour webinar or a 1-day training or a 2-day training? What does that kind of look like in regards to your time frame? All right. Then they're going to say whatever they say. And then you want to ask the question, okay, fair enough. And what kind of location did you have in mind for that? All right, they're going to share what kind of facilities they have or don't have or whatever it may be. All right, so those are the critical questions or areas that you want to find out about. Then from your side and selling side, I love to just take the very simple approach of, fantastic, thank you for sharing that information. Yeah, based on what you've shared, I could probably help you out with that. Or, based on what you've shared, probably I'm not the best person for you. But let's imagine you are the best person. What I love to do is simply say, fantastic. Well, based on what you've shared, probably based on the last set of clients I've worked with over the last 3 years, the 3 core problems that you're probably actually facing are this, and this. All right, so you're going to lay out the problems for you as you see them with that client, right? And they're going to agree or disagree with the problems that you sort of map out for them. Then the next thing you can say is, fantastic. Well, in a situation or scenario like that, the steps that I love to take people through are this, and this, and this, and you map out the 6 steps that you love to take people through. And you can talk about the modality or the way that you love to do that. And then you want to tie it back to, if you follow those steps, highly likely you will come across a scenario where you will achieve those success areas or those success, indicators that they described earlier on in the conversation. Then I love to just simply say, where would you love to go from here? Where would you love to go from here? Then they're going to ask some further follow-up questions of you, probably. And basically, you just leave it with them. If there is good alignment, great. If there's not, that's okay. Because the last thing you want to do is turn up, do your magic, and then at the end of the day, they say, well, that was great, but it's not what we were looking for, all right? So the best clients are the ones that are fully aligned with you, and you can solve their problems, and they're the problems that you specialize in. You don't want to become the answer to everybody's problems. You want to become the person that they come to when they've got the specific problems that they know you specifically can solve. And as a result of that, your market value goes up and up and up because you are seen as the expert in your field. Hopefully you got some value from the video, folks. Those were little things and thoughts around how can you have a great quality training needs analysis conversation, or taking an inbound lead from a prospect that wants to hire you as a great trainer or someone to run a great workshop for them. On that note, I hope you got some value from the video. If you did, like, comment, share. Let's get the message out there. My name is Mark Miles, helping you become the best trainer, presenter, facilitator that you truly can be. Thanks for watching, team. We'll see you on the next one.